All right. Once again, welcome everyone. My name is Janice and I will be your trainer today. Okay. Today's session, we're going to be focusing on managing how do we create group and how do we manage it, as well as how do we mark our attendance. Okay. So our agenda will cover under group management. We will then first cover how to set up the intake groups, how to assign the student to the group, and also how can we bulk enroll student into the class. And for those that has set up flexible timetable for their courses, there is an extra step here that you can also use to assign timetable to a group of students. Okay. Last session, I covered how we can assign flexible timetable for one student at a time. So now this session, I'll show you how we can assign a flexible timetable as well. And next, we'll show you how to print our attendance list, okay, and also how to mark our attendance. All right. Now, the following slides are literally some steps to take you through where can you go in order to create a group, to assign student to a group. Okay, so I will post this PowerPoint at the end of the session onto the chat so that you can at least use that as a guide to take you to the steps. So once you get to all these menus and in the system, all you need to do is to fill in the mandatory fields, the fields with the asterisk. You are pretty much set to go. Okay, I will then show you. So basically, these are all the steps that what you need to do and how you print. Okay, so I will show you in our live system in terms of how these steps are actually done. So let me quickly bring up our system. All right. So to start a group group intake. Sorry. To set up a group, we need to go into compliance, go under group management. Okay, so it will take you to this page. Under set up intake group, you can set up the group. There is no limitation of how you want to define your group. It can be by intake date, it can be by a certain specification of the course, or it can be the most easiest is like this one. We have set up a few sample groups that was under all course. So that means that if you only had a couple of courses available running for that particular semester, you can do it all. So put all the students into the one group. Okay. Alternatively, like what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this up to my course. So I will only create a group that is only specific for this course. All right. So I'll group all my students for this course under one group. So all you need to do is to give it a group ID, like essentially a group name. Again, you don't, under the one course, you can group it under, call it different names, create different groups. Maybe under hospitality that you could have a F&B specialization, or you could have a kitchen management specialization group. So it depends on how your course is set up. So you can create multiple groups based on that. All right. So in this case, I'm going to create just a generic group for hospitality. So I just fill in my name. In this case, is 2024 hospitality intake group. Okay, and I select my course as Bachelor of Hospitality Management. Group date is essentially the day we create the group. Okay, so I've created it yesterday. So you see my intake. They call intake date, but then it's actually the date that we created. All right. If there's any description of this group, say for example, you are creating this for a major in the food and beverages section, then you can put in a description here. Once you click that, just click add group and it will add it over here. Okay, so if this group is no longer needed, so for example, you want to change the name of the group, or this group is actually created wrongly, then all you need to do is to click on this X icon to delete it. Okay, once we have created the group, now we have to assign student to the group. Just go into the next step, assign student to group. Okay, so over here, we can say not assigned because we want to find the student that has not been assigned to a group. So From there, go to the next search criteria, look for the year. Okay, there's all the different roles of different status of the student. You can choose whichever, use this as a search criteria. I have a habit of keeping it all status, so I make sure I scoop up everyone. All right, and then the group ID, in this case, this would be the group that I created. And then I don't have to, if there is a specific campus that I want to, if this course is only run by in a specific campus, I can choose. Or I can even choose if this course is run under multiple campuses, then I can specifically create a group that is only for that specific campus. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to leave it as all campus, the group ID, and then immediately all my students, the 3 students that I previously created, will be listed at the bottom. Okay, I can also click search, but the system is smart enough to actually bring up most of the system, the results already. All I need to do is select them. I can select them one by one. So if you say that I'm creating this for different groups, if I'm going for all campus, I can select whichever student to go into that group. Okay, in this case, I want to put everyone into the same group. I just need to select that. And then there's an icon here, say assign. I just need to click this bulk assign icon. I will assign everybody into this group. So I have the choice if I am choosing, say, maybe student A and student C to only go into this group. I can choose that and then assign them individually. Okay, so in this case, I'm assigning all into the group. So I've already assigned everyone into the group. Next, I want to enroll them into the timetable. So I just need to go bulk enrollment by group. Okay, so when I come into here, there's a little bit more steps to go. I just need to go in, create my hospitality management course. So the student that has been assigned into that group, into this group, hospitality intake group, that was created on the 26th of September, is now listed down here. Okay, since this is all the 3 students, all I need to do is come down here, select my semester, which has already been automatically pulled out for you, the term, the subject that you want to assign the student to. So on the basis that timetable has already been set up for this subject. Okay, so I've set up timetable for 2 subjects. This is the 2 subject. So I choose the first one. I will select the batch. Okay, everything else will be populated for you. If you have the habit of going through just to make sure it's correct, which is good. So once we have that, you just click bulk enrollment, and immediately it will change. At the bottom, it will tell you the 3 student has been enrolled into this subject. Okay, so if I just come back here and say I've go into student C, into the student profile, click on this edit icon and go into results. If I scroll to the bottom, you will see that this student profile has student C has had this subject enrolled. Okay, so I can come back here and say this time round, still by group, but I want to enroll them into the second subject. So I just need to click here and again select the respective batch, same campus, and bulk enrolled. So now it tells me I have again enrolled these 3 students into the subject. So if I come back here and say if I quickly refresh student C's profile, and you can see the second subject has been enrolled. Okay, likewise, if I really just want to go in and double check again, say for example, I bring up student A, go in here, results, and you can see that student A has been enrolled into the 2 subject as well. Okay, now coming back, for those that has flexible timetable in place, okay, once we have enrolled the student into the subject, if you have a straightforward timetable, like, you know, one class, there is no option, then it's pretty much the end of the enrollment. But if your course has been set up with flexible timetable, for example, my course was set up as having a flexible timetable. Flexible timetable means we're giving you the flexibility of choosing which class Okay, so we can then go into this menu here, flexible timetable. You obviously have to choose all your campuses and which course is it. Okay, the intake group will be pre-populated for you, and it will choose the semesters. Okay, so in this case, it's semester 2 and my batch and my term. So under the first subject, because essentially all the subject will be listed down here. I know I set up timetable for the first 2 subject. So on the first subject, I would select my class and my batch. Okay. So from here, you will see that this is all my students. Okay. I can go in and say, for student 1, student A, I have set up Monday for lecture and Tuesday and Wednesday for tutorial on different time. Okay, so you can choose, say, my structure is for all subjects, they have to do 1 lecture and 1 tutorial. So lecture, naturally, I have to select. Then in terms of tutorial, I can then go and either select a Tuesday tutorial or a Wednesday tutorial. Okay, the option is there. I can also select, say, bulk, all 3 of them, Monday tutorial, but then maybe, okay, I'm setting this up for 2 tutorials. You might ask, if I'm going to assign them, why should I even have this flexibility? It is on the basis that you might have, say, 120 students enrolled, but each of your classroom can only take, you might have one big lecture hall that can take all 120 students, but then your tutorials room, you might have a room that can only take 30. Then what are you going to do? You can't squeeze 120 students into the one tutorial room. Hence, you can set up all these different tutorial periods. So you can then assign. Okay. So for these 3 students, I can say I assign them all to Tuesday tutorial. And then for the next 3 students, I might just assign them to my Wednesday tutorial. So this way you can keep an eye out on the capacity to say, okay, my room 1 has already been filled out of 30, then I move on to the next. So it helps you, it gives you a way to keep an eye out on your capacity. All right. So I simply do that, and then I just need to click bulk enroll. So essentially, it's now telling me that I have enrolled all my students into these rows, these 3 students. And how do we know that? Just come back here to the student. This is under student A. If I toggle it again, and you can tell that the difference. See how just now when we enrolled them, just a straight enrollment is now just that. But now with the flexible timetable that we have added, we have now seen that student can have to go on lecture on a Monday from 6 a.m. Okay, disregard the time, and we're not that bad. We won't start classes at 6 a.m. But then this is the class that I've set up, and then also tutorial 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, so whichever timetable that you say, if you have flexible timetable, it will reflect over here. Okay, so this is how we will manage the flexible timetable. Okay, next, after we have given the flexible timetable, then after we have assigned student into all the timetables, then we want to mark attendance. Okay, the most convenient place is obviously to come to timetable and then print attendance list. Everyone would say, what's so special about it? Yes, you come here, you print. This is to print bulk timetables. Okay, choose your campus, choose your assignment, and choose your semesters. So in this case, I'm choosing my 2027 semesters. This is the subject that I have enrolled student into, the first one. Okay, and then immediately system will recognize to pick up the staff. Okay, I can do all student, or I can choose, if I know my student status has already been changed, I just use current student. Otherwise, I can use all students. I'm just scooping up everyone just in case. Okay, so then I have to put, because we are printing it, the attendance list for it is always per week. So we can choose. At the moment, the system is telling me, counting from the start of the beginning of the semesters to now, it should be 8 weeks into the semester. Okay, so I can say I'm preparing for next week. So I can pull out week 9, and then once I click view, it should tell me that, or even I don't even need to click view. It will say that all the 3 students that I have already enrolled is already listed down here. So all I need to do is to click Generate Attendance List. Okay. And from here, you will see that the class attendance is being generated. So here is a bulk attendance or bulk class attendance. So you have your Monday listed and your Tuesday tutorial listed as well. Wednesday, though the timetable is being created, but because we have not assigned student into this class, so it's showing me NC as in no class. So we know we don't have to mark this attendant. Okay, this is a more straightforward type of attendance list. But there is another way that we pull attendance list for just a single class. Because we use flexible timetable, or I have assigned this to a flexible timetable. So from our point of view, we would recommend you to print individual class attendance list instead of using a bulk list. Okay, because you might not have your tutorial might not be taught by the same teacher, or or each teacher, you might have a different teachers teaching different tutorials class in that sense. So we can go in and say only print the attendance list for that particular class to give it to the respective teacher. How do we do that? We just come out here, individual class. Okay, now very simply, same thing. We have to first find our semester. Okay, term. And if I were to look for the week 9, okay, so now we have the thing that we have to specify is which day. So if I'm only going to print a Monday, I know my timetable sets on a Monday, and which class, obviously there's only one class. So this 3 student is now for this class. Same thing if I click here and say I generate attendance list. Okay, and you can see now that the attendance is only for Monday. Our Tuesday class is not there. So I have set up my timetable to mark 2 hourly. So, to mark hourly, so you can see the break and the name of the students. Okay, so if I want to also say choose on, I know I have a tutorial on Tuesday. So if I choose tutorial on Tuesday, generate. So now you can see this is only for the Tuesday class. All right, so you have the flexibility of generating individual class or generating if I go in here and say generating a weekly class. Okay, so all right, so over here we actually shows you in terms of how we mark attendance, like how we print the attendance list in by bulk or individual. Okay, next we'll show you how we can mark attendance. Now, marking attendance, we go into compliance, attendance management. Okay, so a couple of ways of marking attendance. The most straightforward way is obviously under add class attendance. Okay, and then you have to obviously fill in the criteria, in this case, 2024. Now you can mark up until, so marking attendance is different from printing attendance list. Print attendance list is you are allowed to print in advance ahead. But marking attendance, obviously we cannot mark ahead, right? So in this case, it's telling me that this week is the last week of the marking week, or we should be marking up until, attendance should be marking up until now, okay? So I can click on here. I can choose whichever week that, I do hope that you keep up on marking of your attendance. Like in this case, I'm pulling it as an example. So say if I want to mark week 6, I just need to see week 6 and then click check attendance. Okay. Oops, I got nothing. See, I showed you a successful failure. Okay. I choose week 6, but I haven't chosen my day. So I should have chosen my day. Here is defaulted it is on Friday. So if I just want to mark on a Monday, so in this case, the class actually will populate for me. over here. Then I click check attendance and see all my student attendance will be pop up here. Okay. All I simply need to do is once my teacher has marked off their attendance, return the attendance list, I just need to update here. So if everyone is well and health and they arrive all on time, so we just need to mark them off here, okay, and click record attendance. Okay. However, if ever there's a student says, actually this student, maybe student C has arrived a bit late. He didn't arrive at 6:30. Then all I need to do is to click on this edit icon to bring this up, and then click on here and change, say student actually arrived at 6:30 instead of 6. And so in this hour, 6:30. And then I just need to click here to record it and then click record attendance. So this way I've marked my record. Okay. So this is the most straightforward way to mark attendance, the simplest and the most straightforward. You just need to remember to choose the right date. Okay. All right. Choose the week that you need and also choose the right day and the right class. Okay. The next option is to mark it as a bulk attendance. All right. This is simple, easy to handle, but it's not as detailed. Okay. So how do I mean that? Coming down here, obviously class type we have to choose under, in this case, we'll choose under higher ed, choose the course, the year, the semester. In this case, I want semester 2, term, and then which week we want to mark. So this time round, we're not marking it per person per day. We're marking it per week, per person per week. So I can still go into, say, the week 6, all right? If you're very confident with your data entry and your record, they should all be current student, so you can choose current student only. And I have a habit of going to all students just to make sure that I scoop everyone up. In this case, I'll bring up my 3 students. Okay. As you can see over here, there is class hours, there's attended hours. Okay. So I can say, let's select all of them. And I know that my class hours, so I have 2 hours tutorial and 1 hour, 2 hours lecture and 1 hour tutorial. That makes 3 hours. Okay. So I can put 3. So oops, let me remove these so that I can show you this, my tada motion. I do apologize. I should have cleared my data. Okay. So in this sense, this should be the original screen that you see. All these spaces are blank. All right. So I know, as I said, 2 hours lecture plus 1 hour tutorial. So for this particular week, all right, I only have the 1 subject running. Then I have 3 hours. Okay. So for example, if I have, since I have already enrolled them into 2 subjects, both subjects will need to do one 2 hour lecture and 1 hour tutorial. So they add up to be 6, right? 2 subjects, 3 hours each. So they add up to be 6. All you need to do is over here, choose 6 and then click all the students, step away, it'll be updated with 6. Okay. And then attended hours. Technically, if class hours is marked as 6, then students should have attended 6 hours. So do you know that student has, if you already, according to your record, your student does all 3 of them enrolled into, do come for 6 hours, you put in 6, and so it's being populated for you automatically. This is very simple, very quick, okay? But it's not as detailed, okay? So you have to do your math. So if you have 4 subjects, running on this semesters, and each subject they need to attend 3 hours class. So that's 3, 4, 12 hours. Then your class hours will be 12. Okay. So you can obviously choose, like, for example, student C. Yes, I keep picking on student C. Instead of class hours, they should all be 6 hours. Attended hours, maybe student C only attended 4 hours. You can amend it this way and then just click on the green icon. So it's now being recorded. Okay. So once we click update, all the results has been recorded. Right? If you need to make any changes, you can just select, say for example, student C again. And bring back and say they recorded 6 hours. Yep. Okay. So this is how we record a weekly data, right? Less detailed, but more convenient. The other way is we can come into attendance summary. Over here, it's like we are then, it's in terms of a bulk detail, but then we can mark it per student. So I have to pull out, say, for example, I'm looking for student A. So under student A, click on this icon, the magnifying glass icon. It will bring up student A's attendance list, so to speak. So all you need to do is, say for example, I know on week 1, let's just quickly click in there. Okay. Say over here, under hour, we just mark in 4. Attended hours, and then other class hours is 0. Just add hours. You will see that that hour has been added. Okay, here 4. So we can then mark in this as per student, but then in a weekly basis. All right. Still, again, less details, but this time around is per student. Then you have an overview of how the student's attendance is being marked off. Okay. So this is how we will mark the 3 ways that we will mark attendance. A weekly daily view, which is the most direct and the most the clearest to me. Okay. Then we also have the bulk attendance, where you mark everything in one bulk. Easiest, most convenient, but less detailed. And then you have the semi-detailed one, which is under attendance summaries, because this time around you're pulling up individual students. Okay. So this would be the end of my session. Thank you very much for attending. And let me quickly see if we have any questions. Yes, we do have one. Once we allocate student to review, can we delete the intake group? If you once you allocated the student into the respective classes, no, you cannot intake, because the intake group essentially is to hold. This is the group, is the container. So you can't just say, after I've assigned them to the classes, then I want to throw away my container. You can't, because they work as a group. So the only way you can remove your group is to undo everything, so that up until the point where you can then delete the group. Okay, I hope I've answered your question. Give me a thumbs up, or put a Y in chat so I know. Anyone? Okay, good. Thank you. Alrighty. So let me quickly attach the PowerPoint slides here for you. Just give me a tick. Group management. Okay, so the PowerPoint slide should be coming up on your screen pretty soon. Okay, so this would be the end of my session. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. And one reminder, once you leave this session, there will be a pop-up screen with feedback coming onto your screen. So please fill in the form, give us some feedback. We will appreciate that, to see how we go in terms of this session. All right. So any other questions? Say it now or forever hold your peace. Okay. All right. So thank you everyone for attending. And everyone, please have a nice weekend. Bye.